Many women describe motherhood as a doorway to a deeper connection with themselves, their children, and even something greater than themselves. Welcome to Intuition Unlocked, the podcast empowering empathic women who feel misunderstood, overwhelmed, or disconnected from their intuition, begin to trust their sensitivities, find inner clarity, and show up with embodied, unstoppable confidence in their daily lives. I am your host, Olivia Ashley, an empath and intuitive, and I am so happy you're here. Welcome back to Intuition Unlocked, the space where we dive deep into the intersection of intuition, womanhood, and personal transformation. I'm your host, Olivia Ashley, and today we're unraveling something deeply personal yet universally felt: the profound power of a mother's intuition and the spiritual shifts that often happen in motherhood. As a mother, have you ever just known something about your child, maybe before a fever spiked or they even said a word? Or maybe you've sensed a shift in yourself, like an opening, a deeper connection to something greater ever since becoming a mother. Well, today we're peeling back the layers of this innate knowing, blending science with personal experience, and exploring how to embrace these intuitive and spiritual awakenings, even when motherhood feels exhausting. In this episode, you'll learn the science behind mother's intuition, why it's real and not just an old wives' tale, how motherhood often sparks profound spiritual awakenings and a deeper sense of self-awareness, and ways to lean into and strengthen your intuition, even in the chaos of daily life. Let's start with the science, because yes, there's actual research that explains why mothers seem to have a sixth sense when it comes to their children. And if you've been here listening, you know we all have this sixth sense, yet there's something profoundly interesting happening in the connection between mothers and their children. Nature Neuroscience, a monthly journal publishing neuroscience research, tells us that during pregnancy and postpartum, our bodies undergo massive hormonal shifts. And one key hormone at play is oxytocin, often called the love hormone. This is a bonding hormone. It connects us with our babies and also sharpens our ability to read emotions, sense danger, and respond to subtle changes in cues. Some studies even suggest that pregnancy causes structural changes in a mother's brain, which strengthens the neural pathways linked to empathy, awareness, and intuition. And I find this so fascinating that they are seeing the actual connections of what so many of us mothers feel and often don't even need to have science to affirm it, but getting this research, knowing that we are a very materialistic, science-led culture and society, it's an empowering knowing and understanding that helps us affirm what we know in our hearts. Another fascinating discovery is something called microchimerism. This means that fetal cells from our babies actually stay in our bodies for decades, and they integrate into different organs within us, including the brain. Scientists believe this may play a role in the unexplainable connection mothers feel with their children, almost like it creates this internal radar. So if you've ever had a gut feeling about your child's well-being that turned out to be right, it's not just in your head. Your body is biologically wired for this deep knowing and connection through your sixth sense to come online. Along with the science is more the spiritual aspect of motherhood. As a mother of 3, I know firsthand how deeply sacred and powerful, beautiful, transformative motherhood is. It is a true initiation. If you think of the maiden to the mother to the crone, we see this in myth and mythology time and time again, and we honor the mother. The mother is the life bringer, the giver of everything from what everything is born out of. So I'm not surprised to some extent how powerful and what shifts come as you go through the transitions of becoming pregnant, having a baby, nourishing, and just being a mother, however that looks. I think it's a very big topic and I can't cover all of it here, yet I want to bring up that many women describe motherhood as a doorway to a deeper connection with themselves, their children, and even something greater than themselves. It can feel like an awakening, a stripping away of old identities and a shift into something raw, real, and profoundly spiritual. Just like I described, there's a true adjustment, a shift, a death of the old self and a beginning of the new self when you step through the portal of motherhood. One mother I spoke with shared that after giving birth, she began experiencing vivid dreams and sudden moments of deep knowing, not just about her child, but her own path in life. Another mom described feeling more in tune with nature, noticing synchronicities like none other after never really having noticed them in their life, and even being able to pick up on other people's energy more strongly than before, which I find so incredible. There's so much happening that we aren't even fully aware of. And this heightened sensitivity that I see often through a lot of mothers, this increased empathy and connection and compassion for others and the world around them can be overwhelming. It can be taxing at times or highly emotional when you are seeing so much fear or atrocities or pain surfacing in those around you. And yet it can be a powerful gift and a powerful tool once you understand how to use it in a way that's grounded and supportive of. You can get stuck when you're feeling so much, and yet there's a way that you can still feel, but then honor and integrate and find sometimes even action to right some of these things where it makes sense to. For myself, motherhood opened up my intuition and psychic abilities. I know I always had them to some degree, but I did not understand them, nor were they fully present in my life until I became a mom. I was able to connect to life in the seen and unseen realms in new ways, and of course, my children. With my first son, he did not speak until he was almost 3 years old. Yet as his mother, I always knew what he needed, what he wanted, and what his sounds meant. I could even feel or sense things before he physically made expressions for them, such as he needed water or would like to play with a certain thing. I just knew this deep knowing, and I would turn and be able to just offer and he'd want it or tell me otherwise. But I could sense the subtle shifts in all my children's bodies before a sickness came on or something was changing in their body that I could make an adjustment or support them with. Something that I always find really cool as well, and I see this more in the first couple years of life. Now that they're older, I don't see this as much, but my youngest is 2, and my husband always tells me that my son and our dogs know when I'm within the 5-minute range of home. He's like, there's something that shifts. The dogs start getting excited or upset, and same with my youngest, and he'll start going, Mom, Mom, even though no one has told them I'm almost home or that I'm near. It's kind of just like a funny thing we notice now in our family. And as much as I can sense them, they can sense me. And I see this expanding out to my dogs and my plants. I am in that mother role, and I am deeply connected in that relationship. So I'll walk past a room of my plants, and then all of a sudden I'll hear one go, water, or, sunlight, just a whisper, and I'll be attentive to it. So it's really fascinating, this realm. And I know there's so much more here. But for many, the emotional intensity of motherhood, especially the sleepless nights, the surrender, the deep, almost unsettling love that comes with motherhood, becomes a catalyst for personal transformation. It forces us to confront our deepest fears, break cycles, and rediscover parts of ourselves we may have forgotten. This is why I see many mothers turning to spiritual practices, whether it's meditation, prayer, energy work, energy healing, overall healing, and connecting with their intuition. But here's the challenge I often see. When you are exhausted, you're overwhelmed, or you're juggling the endless needs of your family, how do you nurture this part of yourself instead of letting it get buried under the weight of daily life or dismissing that the connection you're having, these little insights and feelings or nudges you're getting are actually true. And there's another doorway you can walk through if you so choose to that can enhance and bring so much more peace and support and communion with something greater and deepen your relationships even here in the now if you decide to embrace and integrate your intuition and this deeper emotional connection and sixth sense into your life. So how do we do this? Well, here are some ways you can deepen your intuition and embrace your spiritual connection or awakening in motherhood, even when life feels a lot. Firstly, pause and listen. Taking time out for yourself to have some self-care, to have space in your days is going to help you because intuition speaks in whispers, not shouts. So take small moments throughout the day to check in with yourself. Prioritize you. Having this space to connect with what you're feeling or you're sensing is going to allow you to get more insight, more messages, and come back to yourself. Journaling is also a great one to be able to just write and express and release what you're feeling, and then reflecting on what came out, reflecting on, is that true or is there something else? Secondly, start trusting your gut feeling, your sixth sense. We're often conditioned to doubt ourselves. Start trusting your intuition and those gut feelings. Maybe you don't feel it in your gut, but wherever you feel and get your intuitive senses. We're often conditioned to doubt ourselves, but if something feels off, trust it. You don't need external validation for what you know inside. And I see this time and time again as mothers. We worry so much. We want to make sure our kids are safe and well and okay. And it's overwhelming. There's so much. We're not trained in medicine and in growth and in the physical body and all these things that you kind of have to learn when you're a parent of what's normal, what's not. But I want to say that you have an inner compass that is guiding you and you know what's best. Advocate for yourself. Do not let yourself or something that you're feeling is really a truth for you go unheard, and or make the choices that you feel are best for you and your family, and let that be enough. Do not let external input scare you or cause you to change something that you believe to be true and inherently know is right for you and your family. As long as that's within the bounds of everyone is safe and healthy and well, obviously there's aspects that can definitely divert from those things, but as long as everyone is within that, trust where you are and what you feel. Thirdly, notice patterns and signs. Many women find that when they start paying attention, they notice repeating symbols, synchronicities, or strong hits of knowing. These are the breadcrumbs of your intuition and often how we receive messages from guides, universe, God, our highest self, our own soul and intuition. It's really helpful. Sometimes we have both that internal knowing and compass, and then there's this external aspect where we're also receiving input and are guided through those things. So I love always setting an intention or asking for a sign around something and then noticing what's coming up. Don't put too much pressure on yourself that you have to see it or you're going to expect it or make meaning out of something that's actually not there. Once you've set that or you've asked for it, surrender into the knowing that there's magic around you and it's going to come up in the way that is best for you. Another one is to connect with like-minded women. This is so important. Finding your sisters, finding your chosen family, finding the community that can see you and hold you and be a mirror for you that you're not alone. Motherhood can be incredibly isolating, lonely, overwhelming, but surrounding yourself with others who understand this journey can be incredibly validating. Seek out communities, whether online or in person, that support intuitive, conscious motherhood. I love yoga studios. I think there is a lot of great things happening at those places where there's often prenatal yoga classes or there's workshops you can do. It doesn't always have to be about motherhood, But for the most part, you're gonna find other people who are walking a similar path or have similar curiosities. Some will be mothers, some won't be, but you'll find your people. In Colorado, there's a yoga studio business called Motherhood, which is all dedicated to the mother. So preconception, pregnancy, postpartum, there's yoga classes, there's breastfeeding classes, there's one-on-one support, and check them out if you're in Colorado and you're moving through a pregnancy. And if you're outside of Colorado, look for somewhere like that. Just start searching for mom groups or prenatal or postnatal yoga classes or mother support groups. You're going to get a range of things. Often hospitals or birth centers will offer these classes as well to help encourage this engagement and community. Lastly, make space for yourself. This goes back to where we started with that pause and listen, but it's a great reminder that as a mother, you are nourishing, you are giving so much. You need that for you too. Even if it's 5 minutes, prioritize something that nourishes you. This could be a morning journaling, pulling an oracle card, going for a walk by yourself, or simply sitting in silence before the kids wake up or during a break where someone's napping. Your intuition thrives when you make space for it, and overall, you're going to get a sense of what you need to tend to or notice when you can quiet and recover. I think making space for yourself allows your body to come back to homeostasis, to remember there is a beauty in this life and there is so much more than being just mother. Being a mother is the most beautiful, sacred, such a big thing. So don't take that as something small when I say just mother, but remember there is a you under the mother. Mother is a layer and a role and an embodiment we step into. Yet there's also the you that was before. And so integrating all aspects of you and crafting who you want to be in this new evolution. So overall, let's remember a mother's intuition is not a myth. It's a powerful, deeply rooted knowing supported both by science and experience. And for many women, motherhood opens a door to a richer, more intuitive and spiritual life if you would like to. The key is learning to trust it, trust yourself, nurture this sense, and allow it to guide you. This episode is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of topics I plan to explore around motherhood, intuition, and this sacred journey, because I would love to share more of my own experiences and hear from you all of what you would like to learn about in hopes that we can shed light on this topic that I see is often not talked about. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear your experiences. Have you noticed your intuition strengthening since becoming a mother? Have you felt a deeper spiritual connection? Do you have any stories you would like to share with me around your intuitive experiences or connections as a mother in this space? Send me a message or share your thoughts in the reviews. Thank you for being here, for sharing your energy, and for walking this path of intuitive motherhood. And until next time, continue to trust yourself. You know more than you think. Thank you for joining me on Intuition Unlocked. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of insight, guidance, or intuitive inspiration. To dive deeper into our community and get access to exclusive content, head to my website at www.olivia-ashley.com and subscribe to my newsletter. You can also connect with me on Instagram at wildlyolivia for daily inspiration and updates. Remember, your intuition is your superpower. Trust it, nurture it, and let it guide you. Until next time, I'm Olivia Ashley, and I can't wait to connect with you again.